Hello? Day of hollow bass fishing on the Hobies? Let's go. Hey everybody, so I know it's been a minute since the last time I made a video. This video that I'm making right now is going to be a little bit different than what we usually do, and I'm going to go over our trip to Dale Hollow Lake, which was our trip 2 weeks ago. Yeah, maybe about 2 weeks ago. The 1st of November through the 8th of November. So we had a whole week up in Tennessee to try and catch the elusive smallmouth bass, which hopefully we'll be able to do. You have to watch the video and find out. So we left at 4 o'clock in the morning on the 1st and drove up there, which was awesome. Being able to leave early like that makes it a lot easier than leaving mid-afternoon, driving out through the night, because that's how we did it last time, and we were super tired. So leaving pretty early in the morning, getting some sleep, made it easier to drive up there, and we arrived at Sunset Marina at 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, checked in, and pretty much just hung out because it got dark at 5. It's getting dark at 5 o'clock there, so we got there just before dark, and once it gets dark there, it is pitch black, so not a whole lot you can do. So let's see here. We're going to start off the day with, well, first off, I'm going to explain how that trip kind of started off. We had FLW just there. We had warmer temperatures than usual. The first 2 days were cold, but the whole week was pretty warm. Water temp was up. Water level was really low. Compared to when we went in March, the water was pretty high up. So this time the water was about 6 foot below than what we saw it as last time. So it made fishing really hard. All I brought was Ned rigs, because that's what we caught everything on last time. Well, that really screwed us up. So that could have really ruined the trip if that's all we brought. But luckily Kyle had some baits and I had some jig heads, and that kind of saved the trip. So starting off,
that's cool as shit though.
Here is Kyle with a, he always catches the unusual things. He always gets the lucky hand on catching the weirdest stuff. Now last time he caught a walleye, he caught a drum, and this time he catches, what's crazy, this tree right here, that water was just at that tree, or a little bit higher than that tree, and now it's completely out of the water. And of course, that's where he caught his walleye last time, and here he is with a catfish, which we were wanting to catch a catfish so bad. Because when we get up there, we want to catch the crazy stuff, and not only do we want to catch bass, but catching catfish is pretty cool as well. So Kyle always has the upper hand in that. Now move to us finally catching a smallmouth bass that's GoPro worthy. We couldn't catch anything really on Ned rigs. We tried pretty much everything from what we learned last trip, and nothing was working. So we did some more research, and we knew swim baits was one of the most popular ways to catch smallmouth. So we started targeting drop-offs that went from 15 foot or so to about 30 foot. We started marking fish, and we started catching smaller fish, and this smallmouth right here kind of got us started as into what we need to do to catch fish, which
smallmouth, bro.
It was pretty damn hard, to be honest. It was really hard. You can see in the background here with the mountains, you can see kind of where that
let's go, dude.
That water level usually is. Now those rocks are usually completely underwater.
Yeah.
From the last 2 trips that I've been there, and then this trip being our 3rd, the water level was a lot lower.
Finally.
So definitely different than the first trip. The swim baits got us confident, and it was definitely the bait to use. This was day,
he hit a bait fish and threw it on the
day
bank,
3 or day 4.
And I flipped my bait in there.
Maybe, I can't remember exactly. Yeah, it was probably day 3 or day 4. This is the afternoon. Now, it got dark early. It got dark at 5 o'clock, so we tried to fit 2 trips in one day. We'd fish the early morning and we'd fish the afternoon. So what's crazy about this spot here is Kyle's always kicked my butt. I have never caught a fish here. I hate fishing it. He always catches fish on crankbait. You can see I have my crankbait line out because I made a cast. Well, when I made that cast, I saw a fish blow up a bait, and that bait went on to the
I've never seen anything like it.
the bank there. So I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. It's like, really?
Dude.
That really just happened? So I pitched my minnows at him, and he crushed it, and sure enough, it's a smallmouth bass.
Look at that.
So the swim bait was definitely
Dude, he hit
the
a
bait to have.
and spit
They're
he,
they're
like,
eating
hit it
the
and
swim
knocked the
bait.
bait
We're
up on
getting
the
more
gravel.
confidence with that bait.
I pitched this minnows at him
And
he ate it.
you see here, I'm telling Kyle, look, it just blew up this bait right
way.
here. This fish right here, this is like I think this is the morning after the smallmouth that I sight casted, but I cast my bait out, it's sinking, we're about 15 to 20 foot of water, and I look up, my line's way over to the right. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I reel down and set the hook, and there's a fish on it. That fish comes up and shakes its head, and I thought the GoPro was on, but I guess I didn't catch it. I didn't get the actual hook up or anything on video, or the hook coming out, because that hook popped out and that fish came back and ate it, and I couldn't believe it. And right as I put it in the net, now this is like the fourth cast in the morning, right as I put it in the net, you can see the hook comes out. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Like, it was barely hooked in there. And of course that was on that minnows, pearl blue glimmer minnows with a trout-eyed jig head. So that right there was my biggest smallmouth to date, until the next morning, where we really started figuring out what these fish want, where they're living, and the type of bottom they like.
You know what?
So
I think that hook came out.
this was the real start of it right here, because both of us were able to catch fish the next day.
You gotta hand over some trout eyes.
Oh my god.
Trout eyes left.
I got trout eyes, yeah.
Crazy that we're getting
Let's go, baby.
5 smallmouth. Kicking my ass.
That's my biggest smallmouth right there.
Huh?
That's my biggest smallmouth.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I thought it came off because it went to go jump.
It's working. I started off with this bait. This is the bait I had tied on, and on the first day, but I had it on a really light Ned head. I think that's just. Let's go.
All right, so this one right here, this is the spot that really helped us big time. Now this really got our confidence going. We started seeing fish. Now we drifted down this bank here, and I had one fish follow my swim bait up to the kayak, and I was like, okay, there's fish here. It followed my bait up about 15 foot of water, and the water was fairly clear. Like everywhere else, the water was pretty dirty. This was where the water was pretty clear. We could see the bottom. We could see where fish were swimming and what kind of bottom they liked. And now this bottom had timber, it had grass, it had a little bit of rock. You know, it wasn't like the really rocky mountain like you see right here on the right hand side behind me, but it had just kind of like that weird, just everything on the bottom. It had everything you could think of, and fish liked it. So we drifted down that after we had that one fish follow my bait up. Kyle saw a bass. I saw a bass. There was a smallmouth there. You can see him. You can tell the difference too. The smallmouth bass are so dark. And we're seeing the fish. We're like, okay, we need to fish this. We need to hit it hard and just fish it until we find the fish and get a bite, because we already found the fish. We just need to get that bite. And it happened. I got smoked. This smallmouth hit my bait so hard and it pulled so much drag. It was unbelievable how strong this fish was. Now this is my biggest smallmouth I've ever caught, and I was happy. You know, we worked so hard for this, and to be rewarded with it is great. Now we're throwing all my reels, or we're throwing Abu Garcia, throwing 8-pound Invisibrates, super thin line, making super long casts down the bank. I was fishing parallel with the bank, so I'm kind of bringing it right on that edge where it really drops off, and that's where we're seeing the fish. And it worked really well. So 8-pound braid to, I think we're using 12-pound leader, which could be too heavy, but it worked for us. Now you're talking about guys that fish the flats. We're snook fishermen, we're red fishermen. We don't do this. So to be able to learn it and get a fish like this is just freaking awesome. It was a ton of fun, And that really got us going for the rest of the day, because after that smallmouth, Kyle caught a nice largemouth. I picked up another little largemouth, and that day really made the trip for us. And it was great to be able to put all this together, learn a lot. So hopefully when we go back, fingers crossed, in February when it's cold, we'll be able to use this same technique to catch fish, because using the Ned rigs is better on, I think, the higher water and when they're kind of spawning, because they're all congregated in one spot. And I think the swim bait, we could cover a lot more water, and it being a bigger profile, I think the fish are able to find it a lot better. So appreciate you guys for watching the whole smallmouth bass thing on a big lake. Just bass fishing in general is so much harder than everybody thinks. When you're surrounded with a bunch of saltwater guys down here in Pinellas County, everybody thinks bass fishing is easy. Oh, you can go catch bass here in the pond, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we understand you can go catch a bass in the pond. I like going and catching bass in a pond or a small lake. But to get on a kayak and go and fish a lake like this, size like this, it's a lot harder than you think. I mean, putting a kayak on, say, Okeechobee or Kissimmee, Dale Hollow, any of these big lakes up north that I see a lot of the Hobie guys fish, it's hard. It ain't, you just go out there and catch fish. It ain't that easy. So definitely have my respect on that freshwater fishery up there, especially if you're not used to doing it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, which I don't usually say. Hit the bell notification so you know when I upload more videos. I'm going to try and do better with uploading new content. I've just been really busy with fishing and work and just having fun. So thank you guys again for watching, and take care.